Hey everybody, it's Emily. I'm so excited to be coming to you today. I really want to talk about why stock to sales is so important. And the more entrepreneurs that I talk to that sell products, the more I'm freaking out about the fact that they don't understand this concept and how they're going to start drowning in inventory and start negating their profits like very quickly if they don't understand this concept. So one of the businesses I see it happening in a lot is LuLaRoe. So maybe you're a LuLaRoe consultant and you signed up to purchase inventory. So this rule kind of works with anyone who owns the inventory of their business. So if you're doing on-demand printing or let's say that you create products on demand, this might not apply to you quite as much as it does to someone who owns their inventory. So if you're a retailer, you're buying wholesale products, you're a LuLaRoe business, you're investing in that inventory and you're buying boxes of products all the time, this is really important for you to know. And why? Why do I think it's important? Because I am seriously convinced that no one out there understands how important tracking your inventory is and knowing what inventory you have and what's good and what's bad, right? So a lot of times if you follow me, you know that I am constantly talking about knowing the data in your business. And the more that I see less people knowing what the data in their business is, the more I start to freak out because I think, oh my God, these businesses are going to be gone in like a year or two because they just don't know what they're doing. And you know what? Here's the thing. That's okay. It's okay that you don't know what you're doing. You're not expected to. If you started your product-based business and you are a teacher, or maybe you were a nurse, or maybe maybe you came from sales or you did something, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you wanted to start your business. Awesome. Like, I think that's amazing. My issue becomes that no one is teaching retail fundamentals. And this is something I learned when I worked in corporate retail. I left college and got into the corporate retail industry because I really wanted to learn how to sell the products I was making. And they didn't teach us that in college. And so once I entered corporate retail, I started to really understand what the fundamentals of understanding data around your retail business were. So let's talk about stock to sales, right? So what is stock? Stock is just the inventory you own. So we can talk about this in two ways. We can talk about it in terms of the quantity of units that you own. So that would be like just number of pieces of product. Or we can talk about it in dollars. So we can talk about it in retail dollars, or we can talk about it in cost dollars. So cost would be like your wholesale cost, what you paid to buy that in, or we can talk retail dollars. Most people like to talk retail dollars because then it's really driven home how much inventory you actually have, because that's how much it's worth. That's how much at full price your inventory is worth if you sold through it today, right? So that's what stock is. Your stock is your inventory. So if you don't have a system set up to track your inventory yet, I highly suggest you get one. I'm running an 8-week boot camp style course called the 6-Figure Blueprint. I'm going to teach all about this in my course and go really in depth and actually give feedback to as many people as I can in the group about what their inventory looks like and what they need to do to turn through it faster. So I'll post information about that below. But your stock, if you don't have a way to keep track of it, I highly suggest you figure out how to do that. So whether it's a POS system, a point of sale system, or you create something through Excel, like a spreadsheet, that is something that you want to get on doing ASAP. And again, in my course, I'm going to provide templates to be able to do this really quickly if you don't have a point of sale system that you're working with. So knowing your inventory levels, knowing your stock levels is step number one. The second step is understanding what your sales are. So again, we can look at this in a couple different metrics. We can look at it in units and we can look at it in dollars, right? So how would I use this? Stock to sales. So stock to sales actually just means stock number divided by sales number. It's really that simple. But what does that equal? So your stock divided by your sales is either weeks or months of inventory left. So let's talk about this in the LuLaRoe model, because I find LuLaRoe consultants fascinating and I find the teaching to be completely underdeveloped in that community. So let me give you some tips, okay? So let's say you get set up with your initial order in LuLaRoe. That's about $6,500 at cost. It's about $1,200-ish, $1,300-ish at retail. Okay, so I talked to a consultant. She had just gotten her initial order. And she said to me, I did really well in the first 3 weeks. And I said, great, what does that look like? What does really well mean to you? Because, again, when people talk to me about about doing well or not well, I want to know what numbers they're talking about, right? Because we could be very far off. So really well to me would mean like, oh, you sold it out of all your inventory. That wasn't what we were talking about here. So for really well for her, I'm sitting right in front of a plant. Really well for her meant she sold $2,000 worth of inventory at retail in about 3 weeks. So this was from her initial order. So what I said to her was, this is great. What we need to think about is you sold $2,000 out of the $12,000 that you were sent. And that's, guys, we're using estimates here. Like I said, if you're in my 6-figure blueprint, I would give you all this information and we would be like down to the decimal, understanding how much we had left. So she said to me, do I need to buy more inventory? And I was like, okay, let's look at the numbers. So she sold $2,000 worth of inventory. That was her sales. Her stock was $12,000. Again, guys, we're talking about retail dollars. So what the inventory retails at. That's what she gave me, so that's what we used. So we take our stock divided by our sales, and it equals 6. So 12 divided by 2, 6. 6 weeks would theoretically be how much inventory she had left if she was turning at the same rate. Is this making sense? She's turning at the same rate. If she's selling $2,000 a week of that inventory, she should have 6 weeks left of inventory, which is still pretty good. In a LuLaRoe business, they say you can get inventory in about a week or less. So if you have 6 weeks left, great. You probably don't need to buy any more. If, however, in this woman's case, it had taken her 3 weeks to sell $2,000. So the math isn't quite right. So the math really is that she has 24 weeks left. Because in 3 weeks, she sold $2,000 out of her $12,000 of stock at retail inventory. Does that make sense? Okay, let me know in the comments if you have questions. If you're watching the replay, I want to hear your questions because this is something that a lot of people don't understand, and this is something that can make or break your business. So I want you to understand, okay? So when I did the math and I said, oh my God, you actually have 3 times 6, 24 weeks of inventory. You have 20, do not buy a thing. Like, absolutely do not. Maybe if she had done the $2,000 in a week, I would have said, yeah, you know what? Why don't you order a new style or update something that was a bestseller or something like that? Maybe get some leggings. Because that's a core item piece for the LuLaRoe business, right? Leggings, that's what they're known for. I would say, okay, you know what? Maybe invest a little bit into some leggings. But it was going to take her 24 more weeks if she sold at the exact same rate. And now, again, you guys, this isn't considering that she would slow down or speed up. So she had $2,000 sold. She had $12,000 worth of inventory over the course of 3 weeks. So she had 24 weeks of inventory left, which basically meant she could almost make it through the rest of the year, right? So she either needed to sell a lot quicker, she needed to maybe run a sale or two, right? And again, this goes for anyone in a product-based business. Or she needed to figure out a way to update her inventory, do some sets, something. There's a lot of ways you can get through inventory faster. I don't want to talk about that here. But if you don't understand what your stock to sales are, you are not going to run a successful business. You're going to get backlogged in inventory. You're going to come to me. You're going to say, Emily, I have so much stuff. I have so many units of merchandise. And I'm going to say, yeah, because you bought too much and you're not tracking your sales. You're not tracking your inventory. And there's no product-based business out there that can go for too long without tracking their inventory and understanding this concept of stock to sales. So I want you to go into your numbers tonight. I want you to look at how much stock you have. I want to look at how much sales you've done. You can even look at it over the course of this past week, okay? Divide stock by sales. That's going to give you the number of weeks you have left of inventory. If you sold at the same rate as you did last week, which means you have to keep it up, right? Obviously, you can speed it up. You can slow it down. As we go into Christmas, most businesses tend to start to speed up because more people are buying, right? So let me know if you have questions on this. Again, I'm Emily Benson. I'm a product business marketing maven. I know the ins and outs of every product business, base business, and I can help you grow yours and make it more profitable. Okay, I'm going to jump off. So let me know if you have questions. If you don't understand this concept, again, I would love for you to jump into my 6-figure blueprint. I'm going to post the information about that course. We start on October 3rd, and the price is going to go up this week, guys. So if you've been thinking about joining, you got to get in there. The price is going to go up, and I really don't want you to miss this. Right now is an amazing time to start to focus on your business because, like I said, sales are going up over the course of the next few weeks based on Christmas and Thanksgiving. And if you don't get your act together with your data in the next 2 months, you may not be around in 2017, or you just may continue to struggle in 2017. And I really don't want that to happen. So, feel free to post questions on this page. Feel free to join my 2 groups. I have the Fashion Truck Tribe and I Do What I Want Entrepreneurs. And I hope to see you guys back here soon. I should be back on tomorrow. So, bye.